So, one, anatomy versus physiology. Anatomy is the study of structure, so it refers to the parts of the body and where they are located on the body. Physiology is about the function of those body parts and what they actually do. So, an example of that would be knowing where the heart is, which would refer to anatomy, and physiology would explain how it pumps blood. Now, the body is organized in levels from simplest to most complex. We start with atoms, then molecules, cells, then tissues, organs, then organ systems, and then finally the whole organism. In our case, we, or the human body, are the organism. One key functional characteristic that keeps us alive is maintaining boundaries. Our bodies have to keep the inside separate from the outside, protecting what's within while still allowing the right things in and out. So, for instance, our skin keeps harmful substances and bacteria out while also preventing too much water from escaping. On a smaller scale, each cell has its own membrane as well, which is what controls carefully what enters and leaves the cell itself. So, without that separation, the body wouldn't be able to function properly. Number 4, the body also has survival needs, for example, oxygen and nutrients. Oxygen is needed for energy production, and nutrients like carbs, fats, and proteins fuel the body. Both are essential, but they serve very different roles. To keep everything running smoothly, to keep everything running smoothly, the body uses homeostasis. That's the process of maintaining stable internal conditions even when the outside world changes or when our environment changes. For number 6, a feedback loop is the body's mechanism for monitoring itself and making changes to maintain homeostasis. A positive feedback loop is a mechanism that amplifies a change, while a negative feedback loop is a mechanism that reverses a change to keep the body stable. Number 8, an example is sweating to lower body temperature when you're too hot would be an example of a negative feedback loop. Or contractions that get progressively stronger during labor is an example of a positive feedback loop. Now, if I use myself as an example to demonstrate the anatomical position, it is when the body is standing upright, facing forward. Feet are slightly apart and palms are facing forward as well. So that gives a standard reference point to students or medical professionals, etc., those who are studying anatomy or physiology. For anatomical terms, I will take ventral and dorsal. So ventral means toward the front of the body, referring to the chest, which is ventral to the spine, and dorsal means toward the back, which the spine would be in the dorsal cavity. It is referring to the back as well. So one way to use that would be the spine is dorsal to the sternum. Another pair is anterior and posterior. So anterior would mean toward the front, just like ventral would mean toward the front, and posterior would mean toward the back, which is dorsal. So you can interchange those words. Posterior is toward the back, and the spine would be posterior to the heart, or the heart would be anterior to the spine. Finally, when we look at one of the abdominopelvic quadrants, let's look at the left upper quadrant, for example. This quadrant contains the spleen, stomach, parts of the large and small intestines, and part of the liver. All of these concepts tie together and are essential. The body's systems work in a sync like a perfectly tuned machine to keep us alive at every day, at every moment of the day.